Hello everyone, welcome back to Johnnykin and the Goblins. This is Johnnykin Encounters the Knights, as we continue. It was a curious party, said Johnnykin. Those there riders, who seem chief among them, must in the three brethren out of Spain must be, they must. And, as he said this, all the knights rode upon him at once, as if they wished to howl him over headlong. But Johnnykin stood quite calm and firm, and then, when the whole party came thundering down on him, drew his sword and dashed upon them. Just then he found he could bound and rise and skim along in the air, just like they did. And he did rise, to his great delight, like a wild eagle, keeping above his foes and hitting at them below him. He became very angry and earnest, and they soon fled, sweeping and flying afar in great circles, like frightened wild fowl. But they soon came, bounding merrily up again, wild and gay, all singing a pretty little, yet rather odd, song. Hey, diddle ding, I heard a bird sing of a night that flew up in the moon. Hey, diddle day, I heard a bird say that his enemies fled away soon. And now not a word was spoken, but Johnnykin and all went bounding along, and away they went. He could not help crying, "Hooray!" for in all his life he never felt so gay and glad. It seemed to him to be no matter that they had been fighting, or that he had no horse, for he now went flying as fast as any of them, and so they went skying along, good friends and well met. But as they fled far over forest and hill in the clear moonlight, Johnnykin saw someone approaching them. It was a wild young witch with flowing hair, sailing with the wind on a broomstick, and coming by him, she said, "Johnnykin, why don't you ride your very sword in your hands, as I do my broom? You'll find it ever so much easier." "Thank you," he replied. "Happy thought. Ah, how jolly! What a lark it is to fly like this by the night over the world." "Yes, and don't forget," said the witch, "to turn your ring. There are only a few seconds left now." Keeping by his side, the witch made her broom and his sword fly at the tremendous rate, and then snapped her fingers when the moon was overcast, and there flew from them like a river thousands of sparks, and as the witch fire flew, she sang, "Violet darkle and rosemary ray, spinning the sparkles goes rushing away, but my fingers are scarlet, and while they are bright, the road of the swan is a river of light, and wildfires in the flint are a light in the sea. While you ride on our road, they'll be gleaming for thee. For the fire in the foam which I breathe when I swim, and the light in the stone which puts life in each limb, shall all sparkle out for glory to him." This was sung in a sweet, loud voice, and Johnnykin thought the witch very kind. Just then he leaned forward, and as the light rayed out very brightly, he cried in astonishment, "Chesme?" And Chesme laughed, so with him that she nearly fell off her broom, and he from his sword. "I say," cried Chesme to one of the knights, "do get this gentleman a horse." "There's your chance," said the rider, pointing down to earth. Johnnykin looked and saw the dark tower again, and standing by it was a stately mounted knight with a lance. Down dipped Johnnykin's sword like an intelligent creature, and in an instant he found himself almost falling on the knight, who attacked him with fury. But Johnnykin assailed him, so that the other went rolling and bowling, horse and man to the ground. Then Johnnykin, catching the steed by the mane, leaped lightly into the saddle, and as soon as he had done so, the other, with as bold a jump, seated himself behind him. "Come now," exclaimed Johnnykin, "this isn't fair. It's my horse now, the book says so. See if it doesn't," he cried, producing his dear little volume that he still had. "And the book speaks the truth," said the knight, throwing his arms around him as the horse gave a start to keep from falling. "Why, it's our horse now, Johnnykin." There was a loud laugh overheard from Chesme, who made a splendid burst of fireworks at this, and Johnnykin, turning his head, saw the helmet fall away and the armour change to a lady's dress, and the face of the lady was all set in golden hair, and of course it was Marjolaine. And now the ride became merrier and wilder. Hurray, hurray, off and away they went, Johnnykin and Marjolaine with Chesme on a broom, sometimes high in the air, sometimes near the ground, but always hallooing and jesting and frolicking. There was a grand old gentleman who seemed to lead, and Marjolaine said his name was Herne the hunter. All at once, as they dashed by the covert, they heard a terrible cry like, "Weak, weak, weak," and a great fierce creature rushed out of the bush. It appeared to be some kind of wild boar. In an instant, Herne and all were after it, full chase. "Give me your sword, quick," said Marjolaine to Johnnykin. "There now, it's changed into boar spear. Take it, try to kill the swine if you can." Johnnykin was delighted. He could see a great creature dashing on in the moonlight, and then vanishing in the shadow of the gorse, while the others leaped over him and, galloping before, turned him. All at once Johnnykin found himself close by the beast. "Now, Johnnykin, now," shouted Marjolaine. Johnnykin drove his spear right at the pig, and as he did so it gave a horrible squeal and burst asunder, falling into pieces. But every piece, as it fell and lay on the ground, looked like a bit of broken earthenware, or a potsherd maybe, while from the middle, as it broke up, poured a heap of money. "It was a money pig," said Marjolaine. "It must have escaped from the house of some Scotch farmer. But take the money, Johnnykin. It is yours." A boy who was riding with them gathered the money and gave it to Johnnykin. "There are just 58 guineas, a half-crown and a ninepence. Be sure and brave on that money." Said Marjolaine. "What is that in your mouth?" "A leaf." "Put it with the money. Johnnykin did so. "Come," cried Chesney, "come. Read us a bit from your book, and let's hear what it has to say about you as a hunter." So he read aloud these lines. "Johnnykin, he did kill a pretty pig. It was not very little, and it was not very big. Marjolaine, turning his sword into a spear, said, 'Ride the boar down, quick, never fear.' Johnnykin did as Marjolaine said, and in a minute the pig would be dead. The pig burst open, and there was very funny. Johnnykin found it had full of money. This is the history of them all three, Marjolaine, Johnnykin, and the money piggy." Who? They rode on, and Herne led them up a gradual rising ground. It grew steeper and steeper until it became a flight of thousands of white marble steps. But the horses flew all the faster. All at once he found himself dismounted and alone. Yes, in a second. And standing before a great door, while Herne and all his party bounded away high in the air. And they went. He cried after them, "Marjolaine, Marjolaine." And he heard their voices as if in echo, also crying more and more faintly, "Marjolaine, Marjolaine." Thereupon he knocked at the door, which straightway was opened for him by the goblin. And that's the end of how Johnnykin met Herne the Hunter. Of course, that was the Wilde hunt. Up in Fairyland, I guess it's a bit different. The next time when we come back, I guess it's the goblin meeting as he enters through the goblin door. Thank you for listening, and many blessings.